Wagwan, internet people, it's Multiplier and I have another amazingly brilliant video for you today. And it's all about pointing and telling you why you don't want to make your track too loud. Now, more than anyone, I believe that loudness does make your track sound better. That's scientifically proven. But there's a reason why you don't want to make it too loud. You just kind of want to make it loud enough. So what you'll find is when you're, at least this all applies for dance music, when you're DJing or when someone else is DJing, they'll have all these different tracks, and what they have to do is, when they're bringing in another track, is adjust the volume of it so it sounds at the same kind of level of loudness as the track they're just playing. So what you'll find is all your different tracks in your mix will be at different kind of gain levels, at different volumes, but they'll all end up being balanced at the same level of loudness. And what I've done is I've got a waveform of a quick little mix I did for a radio station, just to kind of demonstrate this visually. So if you have a look at the waveform going on right about now, you'll notice that if you see, it's almost like in blocks. So you have like a block over here, and then you have like a little section, and then you have another like block, and then you have another block, and then another block. So it's all kind of happening in these different levels, and each one of these is a different song. So what you'll find is we had a song at the beginning, and then we had like a transitional thing, and then we had another song here, and then we had another song here, and kind of and so on. And what you'll find is the reason why this is happening is because I'm automatically adjusting the volume of each track so that it sounds the same level of loudness. And now the downside of this is this track here, this track that looks like really, really quiet, it is actually the same loudness, but because it was made so incredibly loud in the mix and master process, it happens to be Under Your Skirt by Zed's Dead, what you'll find is you don't really get all that extra space that you would otherwise have to fill with kind of drum transients and other things. So you just get this kind of track that doesn't really take advantage of everything it could be doing. So yes, when you're playing this super, super loud track here through iTunes and you're playing it right after a quieter track, yeah, it may sound better, but when it's played within the context of a DJ mix, which will happen in a club, or if people are just listening to your track within a mix, it will actually sound worse than if you'd made it quieter. And you really, really want this extra space. So if you have a look, I'll find a good example. So this one here is a prime example. So see how this kind of section here that looks like it's the loudest, it's not actually any louder, it's the same loudness, but because it was produced to be kind of quieter, when it's played within a mix, it has to be turned up. So you get all this kind of extra space they can use. So in this case, if we zoom in, we can see all that extra space is taken up by drum transients and the dynamics of the bass line. You can see how, if you look, say here, there's a drum transient, drum transient, drum transient, and then this kind of thing here is the wobble of the bass line, or the dynamics of the bass line. If they'd produced the track to be louder, then in this mix I would have had to turn it down, so you wouldn't have had that extra space to have that extra impact. Hopefully that kind of visually makes sense, and hopefully explains why you don't really want to make it too loud. You don't want to make it necessarily, you want to pretty much make it as quiet as you can get away with, basically, because the quieter you make it, the less you have to flatten and destroy the sound. So that's definitely going to be my advice, and it's definitely something that is getting more and more popular. I mean, if you look at, say, Knife Party's latest album, Abandoned Ship, analyze the loudness levels versus their previous stuff. They're kind of going along with this trend where we've kind of, about a year or so ago, about a year, 2 years ago, we hit the absolute loudness limit. Like, we hit the point where we'd squished it so incredibly loud in dance music and dubstep and whatever that it's just kind of, it reached the limit. So now everyone's making it a little bit quieter, kind of giving you a bit more dynamics back and just making it sound a little bit nicer. Remember, it's all about kind of relative to other things when it comes to loudness. But yeah, hopefully that video made sense. And yeah, definitely, if you're kind of unsure how loud you're making a track, kind of in terms of raw numbers, I recommend just checking out Tractor. There may be a free demo version or something, because they've got this auto gain setting where it automatically analyzes your track for loudness, which is different to RMS. RMS is kind of, I can't bother to explain that now, but yeah, kind of measures loudness, and then it gives it a number, so you can kind of literally compare. Got a message, ignore that. I've lost my train of thought. This is a disaster. Standard multiplier. So yeah, you can get an exact number from Tractor using the auto gain feature. So that's one way of doing it. Or you can get plugins. But yeah, that's basically it. Why you shouldn't make your tracks super loud. Just make it loud enough. That's the key. And then you're all good. And I hope you learned something. If in doubt, look at shit. That's my advice as well. Also, wear sunscreen in the sun, or you'll get sunburnt. That's also good advice with multiplier. Hope you enjoyed.